Oklahoma County District Attorney David Prater confirms that his office is conducting criminal investigations of possible campaign finance violations. At the heart of the investigations, whether campaigns are improperly coordinating with so-called dark money groups. The flow of campaign cash, disclosed and undisclosed, has increased dramatically since a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling changed the playbook for how campaigns are conducted.
The two Republican candidates for the 5th District congressional race have outraised their Democratic opponents by more than $1 million. The way they did it is now the new way campaign finances nationwide are being done. In addition to individual fundraising, unlimited contributions to super PACs, and campaigns are also getting indirect financial support from social welfare organizations under the IRS rule as 501c4s, better known as dark money groups, that have arisen since the United States Supreme Court ruling in the Citizens United case in 2010. For example, well-known campaign contributors Charles and David Koch, founders of Wichita, Kansas-based Koch Industries, are pouring up to $300 million into this year's races nationwide through a complex network, much of it through groups that don't have to report how much money they bring in or who gave it to them. In Oklahoma, a similar network is now in place, and it's all perfectly legal to a point.
Continuing escalation of the amount of dollars spent in political campaigns and change in who is spending the money.
Lee Slater, executive director of the State Ethics Commission, says not only did Citizens United open the floodgates for dark money, but it opened up the flow of money into super PACs, which do reveal their donors and the amount they give.
After Citizens United, there are no limits on what corporations or individuals or anyone else can spend on independent expenditures, nor are there limits on how much one or a corporation can contribute to a committee that's making independent expenditures.
An example of how financially powerful super PACs have become, in January of 2012, the Coalition for Oklahoma's Future formed as a political action committee. By March, they had raised $150,000 from 4 donors. By June, the number had swelled to over $300,000, with 4 more large donations. Some of the money went to various Republican campaigns. More of the funds went to a political consultant who was arrested this summer for possession of cocaine and prescription pain relievers. Chad Alexander was executive director of the Coalition for Oklahoma's Future, as well as the dark money group Oklahomans for a Conservative Future. Since his arrest, Alexander has stepped down from both groups. Alexander was also a senior partner at Majority Designs, which specializes in production of campaign materials. Its managing partner is former State Representative Trevor Worthen, who is dismissive of the impact of the new unlimited donations.
I do believe that independent groups will have influence in elections, but I don't know that they're going to be the ones deciding elections. I still think that you're going to see the bulk of campaign spending coming from candidates.
Dr. Richard Johnson, chair of the Political Science Department at Oklahoma City University, says whenever there is a shift in how money affects politics, there is also a shift in power.
What you've had is kind of a bifurcation in the electorate between those who have more money and who can already affect politics at a deeper level, and the common person like you or I.
Worthen and AH Strategies political consulting firm co-owner Font Holland are advising the campaign of Patrice Douglas for the 5th District congressional seat. Her runoff opponent, Steve Russell, has added now to the growing list of complaints about improper activities on behalf of third parties before District Attorney David Prater.
We were approached by a max donor from Patrice Douglas's campaign that was concerned about what was happening with a third-party group. And the evidence that he produced to us, we got legal counsel from our campaign, legal counsel, and he said to turn it over. So we turned it over to David Prater, the district attorney.
That evidence is a report prepared by the Terrence Group, a national political consultancy that questioned 5th District voters on which messages polled best for Douglas. The work was paid for by the Foundation for Economic Prosperity, another dark money group that has already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars supporting James Lankford's campaign for U.S. Senate. Trevor Worthen says the allegations coming from the Russell camp are just politics.
It's simply wild, desperate allegations from a candidate who wants to change the subject from the fact that he failed to show up for work when he was in the state Senate.
The complaint from the Russell camp to the district attorney is the third case so far this election cycle to land on the Oklahoma County DA's desk. The other two, State Superintendent Janet Barisi alleged improper communications in her Republican primary opponent Joy Hoffmeister's campaign with a third-party group run by Chad Alexander, and allegations of improper communications from former House Speaker T.W. Shannon's failed Senate campaign with another third-party donor group, also now being probed by the DA. OCU Professor Johnson says these situations are clear examples of how political campaign financing since the Citizens United decision has turned into a free-for-all.
So it's just like the Wild West right now, only there's no sheriff.
And Ethics Commission Director Lee Slater does not hesitate when asked if he would like to see campaign finance go back to the way it was before Citizens United.
Yes, one of the problems is that you have at least the potential to distort the whole political process.
Slater is a highly respected expert on campaign ethics and funding, and he says campaign finance in America is now unlike any other democratic form of government on earth.
The United States is perhaps the only country I know of that has unlimited campaign expenditures. Virtually every other democracy around the world has some kind of limitation.
The district attorney's investigation is focused on a series of emails, some which came from unidentified elected public officials who came forward on their own to provide evidence.